Yeah.
We can
All right,
move on though.
let's round out the college then, because I know there's not a ton to really get into. Like, we know what both Peart and Faber have been this year. Faber hurt, but it sounds like he'll be back in time for whenever the Wild might call upon him. He could even be back as early as this weekend against Ohio State. But Peart, I'm a little bit more interested in. I know we just tried to do the thought experiment and we made it to 2 in the depth chart for where we rank the defenseman. I don't care where you stack him right now. As far as ceilings go, where do you stack him with the Minnesota Wild defenseman? Like, if all of them pan out, best case scenario for who they are, like, is Peart higher or lower? Top half, bottom half of like our top.
Oh, he's top half.
Defenseman. Okay.
Oh, he's top half. Like, it's so interesting.
Him, Lambos,
like,
someone else?
No. I look at him, like, I think like Lambos' ceiling is so high.
Yep.
But his floor is I think it's low. Like, I've said this before on here. Like,
his floor is not making the Canadian World Junior team.
Yeah, we're there. By the way, he's playing fucking unreal hockey right now too. Some of the fucking shifts, he's playing really well. The thing, like, Lambos, his like ceiling is like a legit. I still think he's like just a solid second pair, 200-foot guy with high offense. Like, when he's got like a power play animal, like watching that kid dance on the blue line is so, it gets sick. Like, he literally does this, and
God damn you, Zeke, because now everyone is gonna hit me up, be like, "Hey, you just said that Lambos can be the power play animal, and bye, Addison." Like, fuck you.
Yeah, no, I take it back. He sucks, actually. Just for you, bro. If Isha was joining me, I would have. Yeah.
Well, you'd have to stroke him off even harder because he plays in the dub. So.
Well, no, he would have been talking about Vancouver. But like Lambos, I think if they both hit their ceilings, I think Lambo, like, it's probably not that close. Peart, his
Peart
game
got a better floor then, huh?
Oh yeah, I think so. Just because, well, God, it's so tough too. Because defensively, he's okay. Lambo's solid. Like, I think Lambos can defend really well. Like, it's just sometimes he can be so fucking inconsistent and like wild. Like, I also just probably have more faith in Lambos being able to be coached up to be the guy, like, to be the player that he can be. Like, there are games where he's just super reliant on defending just with a stick, or there's games where, like, and again, he defends really well. Like, his stick play, like, defensively is solid, like poke check, whatever. But there's games where he's like super reliant on that, or there's games where, like, he will literally just get all fired up and just leave the defensive zone to go try to hit like a defenseman who has the puck at the blue line. Like, why are you doing that? I'm like, well, he hit me 4 games ago, so I have to, get him back. And he's like, he'll chase hits, like, which isn't like, he's a young kid, so whatever. But again, my whole point in all this is, like, there are games where you can just be like super inconsistent and a bit of a loose cannon, just with like positioning or over reliance on something like that. But
what's your take on Peart for, like, is he coming to Iowa next year? Is he going to play another year in college?
I mean, I would imagine they try to sign him just to not let him go another year, just because, I mean, they see what happens. I mean, I think they were fine with being like, you want a second for McBain? Sure. Like, no problem. I would imagine that they would try to sign him. He's playing so well this year on a St. Cloud team that is nasty. Like,
well, he's the guy. He's the guy.
And he's playing like 25, 26 minutes a night. The defensive game has been significantly better than it was last year. Last year, it was just downright bad. Like, I said this almost every week. I was like, if he takes one more minor fucking penalty for tripping, hooking, like slap, like, I will lose my mind. This year, completely different, because he's such a good skater. So it just didn't make sense. I was like, how are you getting beat that bad? And he's never going to be like a shutdown guy, but he's so good in transition. And again, this year, he's been so much more patient offensively. Like I said before, like last year, every time he was on the power play or every time they were in the offensive zone, he was just trying to do like the indirect passes off the wall, like bank passes.
Mhm.
It honestly worked like 40% of the time, but it was like that will literally never work in the NHL ever at all. Nothing. There was like zero high danger chance, like creation, nothing like that. This year is completely different. Like he'll hold on to the puck and he will find, like he'll create lanes. Again, he's such a good goddamn skater. Like this year, I've just seen him use it more. I think he's a lot more confident too. And again, with him, transition zone exits, whether it's him skating or like his stretch passes are tape to tape, like flat and dangerous. Like he will, like I think he's probably sprung in 15 people on breakaways this year just from like behind his own net. And like he's a guy that when he's going to retrieve that puck, he knows where everyone is. So this year, I think he's been just like last year again. I was harping on him just because like the little shit was driving me nuts. But he he still put up what 20 points last year as a true freshman, which is really on a fucking top 10 team. Like that's not playing on their top power play, by the way. Like that's solid.
Well, this and on year, a team that's like stereotypically not playing true freshmen, right?
Right. Ever. Like no 18-year-old. They're like half their fucking team's 22. Like, so that was like impressive. It was just the little things that drive me nuts.
Yeah, but, for
sure. This year, I think he's taken a massive step, and he's every facet of the game. They're what are they now? Like top. The other day they were like 3.
Depends. We go pair wise. I think they're at 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, because they just swept fucking Nodak. Like Nodak's been
doesn't mean what it used to mean, but yes,
I know. It's still. I'm like, holy shit! Like they kind of kicked the shit out of him. Like, actually, North Dakota last year was one of the games leading up to the World Juniors that he just caught fire. There was one game they beat him like 7-2 and he had like 5 points. He was sick. But I think he's shown just a little bit more of a well-rounded game this year. And I think he's kind of just evolved a little bit. And I think it's been a solid year. So I think Peart's been really, really, really good. So I'd imagine they try to sign him and continue what he's doing, hopefully in Iowa next year or whatever. But I think they would like to do that instead of letting him sit and think about it more, look at the pool and be like, could I go somewhere else maybe after 3 years in college? Because I think, realistically, it's not a bad idea to pull him out now or after this year.